I woke up today with some news that I wasn't really expecting. I never in a million years thought that I'd see this. And I'm not really in the loop when it comes to Hollywood and actors and influencers and stuff. A lot of my takes seem to be pretty surface level when I really analyze them. And I think there's perks, there's benefits to that. And there's also downsides to that, right? Because you guys don't get a whole lot of new information from me. You literally just get my opinions on shit that's happening in the world. And I'm going to keep it that way. Why? Because I don't care enough about these people to deep dive in on them. I'm going to see from an outsider's point of view what's going on, what I know about the individual or the event happening, and then make a judgment off that. I'll do a little bit of research to kind of figure some things out. I'm not completely out of the loop on everything. I know here and there. I keep my eyes out, right? I'm not ignorant to the world. I'm not that kind of guy, right? You can't be ignorant. I'm not ignorant. So what did I wake up to today? Let me put an image up on screen here for you. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has lost, I heard, 50 pounds. Don't know how true that is. We're just going to pull this up here real quick. Let's watch this.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is turning heads with his dramatic weight loss. The Moana star's transformation for his upcoming film, The Smashing Machine, was on full display while stepping out at the...
Now, I'm pumped for this movie. I'm going to be honest. The Smashing Machine, I'm stoked for it. When I saw it advertised in movie theaters, I think it was Superman that I went to see. Saw it pop up. I'm pumped for it. I didn't really know who it was as the advertisement went on. I thought the guy looked a little fucked up, to be honest. And then when it said Dwayne Johnson, I was like, oh, okay. It kind of looks like him. But he also just kind of looks like an inbred cousin of Dwayne Johnson.
Women's Tales event on August 30th during the 2025 Venice Film Festival. Dwayne showed off his new slimmed-down figure, sporting a silk, short-sleeved blue button-down with colorful sketches and straight-leg black trousers. Many users online...
The fact that people give a shit about what these people wear just blows my fucking mind. His silk shirt with his black trousers. Who cares what these people are wearing? Like, it is somebody's job to report on the fashion of famous people. Wild. That's a whole nother video in itself.
Responded to the new look, saying on X, had to do a double take, and The Rock became the pebble. The actor portrays real life.
And going off that, it doesn't even matter what they wear. Like, take, for example, what I'm doing right now as we speak. You see what they wear, you see what they do, and it's all recorded for criticism, for people to judge. I'll say this once, and I'm probably going to say it a million times in the future, and it constantly goes through my mind. Everybody wants to be famous. They think they want to be famous until you realize, I was thinking about this the other day. You think, you can't go to the grocery store. That's got to be so weird. You can't just live everyday life. You can't just drive down the street. No, you can't do anything. Your life is not normal. You can't do anything. You can't go out in public without people like me ridiculing how much weight this guy's lost, without people stating what they're wearing, what they're eating. Who gives a shit? Being famous sucks. I do not care. We'll get into that later.
MMA fighter Mark Kerr in the upcoming movie, starring alongside Emily Blunt. In addition to losing weight, his role included applying over a dozen prosthetics.
Okay. So, I'm going to stop it right there. That little piece that she just threw out there, we really don't need to watch this whole thing. I don't know why I let it play for so long. But it sounds like they're trying to say the prosthetics is why he had to lose the weight. The people on E! News are fucking ignorant to what anything anything that actually happens. They're completely ignorant to what is going on. People have thought for decades that The Rock is natural. And now you have people, I'm in the fitness space, so I know what's attainable. I know what makes sense. When you have people who aren't in there, like if I talk to my parents about it, talk to my dad, I'm like, dude, he's juicing. You think so? No, he definitely is juicing. Well, how? How can he get away with... They aren't drug testing you. They don't care. But anyways, this is what he looks like. I'm going to go on a whole spiel about that later. This is what Dwayne Johnson looks like. Eerily similar to Batista. And I don't mean like just in the weight loss. They kind of look like the same fucking guy. They wear the same sunglasses. They have the same skin color. Batista has a beard, and I think he's a little skinnier. He kind of looks more like a shaman, in my opinion. This is what we're looking at now with Dwayne Johnson. He looks good. I'll give it to him. I'm happy that he's healthy. Right? But where did this all stem from? Now, if you've kept up on any of this as much as I have, like I said, I'm not ignorant. I do my digging. I know what's going on to a certain extent. I spent like 20 minutes before this video going back, getting some footage. Okay? Let's see if I can go back here. So what do we need to go to? Months ago, maybe this was a year ago.
If you don't understand the rules of power, you will certainly lose to someone who
fucking
does.
Ads, dude. Absolutely obnoxious.
Funny because you could...
So let's see. I got a few kind of marks here that I wrote down. Right around here.
I think 10 ingredients, maybe more, that we put together for me, and some other things as well. But you bring up a great point. I feel like...
So they're talking about this shake that he made. He's on a podcast with his doctor, right? So he has access to the best doctors in the world and blah, 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 blah. He's a fucking billionaire. He lets Hawaii burn to the ground and does whatever he's doing and makes his energy drinks and his tequila. True health advocate. But he's on his doctor's podcast, right? And back when I watched Greg Doucette a little bit, I watched Greg's video on this, but he basically has a yes man of a doctor who's just gonna milk him for his money. You can't blame the guy.
It's the microcosm of a larger issue here, right? Which is just this idea that it was finally through you understanding the power of, wait, let's hold on. We know what the symptoms are. Let's not treat the symptoms. Let's go deeper and look under the hood and find out what the root cause is. Because what happened prior to me meeting you, I was seeing my doctors and it was, well, it feels like it's this. It's probably this. Let's take some of this. Let's take a little bit of that. And then 4 weeks later, no, nothing's changed.
That's the healthcare system, baby. That's America. You got a problem. Let's give you some shit. We'll milk some of the money out of you. Come to find out that's not the problem. Then we get to milk you for some more money, baby. We don't know what's going on with you, nor are we going to scan and try to figure out what is wrong with you. We're going to throw everything at the wall, except actually figuring out what the problem is. And then once you're on your fucking deathbed, now we'll figure it out. And then we really get to milk you for life support at that point, basically. Again, this isn't political. Non-political show here. But just shows, he talks about this later. He didn't go to the doctors. He just wrote it off. You feel good. You look good. You don't worry about it, right? And you bury your head in the sand because you don't want to know. It feels better not knowing. And I get it. I haven't been to the doctors in years. Just kind of the way it goes. Again, The Rock has been seen as this guy who is literally in front of us defying the entire process of aging. He's getting bigger, stronger, leaner every year, is apparently natural, and is busy as hell. But he's able to do it because he's Samoan. What is it that he talks about all the time? Family in Hawaii. Mana. Is it Mana? I don't know. Terramana. Now that's his fucking tequila. I don't remember. He's Samoan, so he's got the genetics. And if we skip ahead to 8 minutes, he talks a little bit more about his heart.
Build a website you love
Ads, brother.
with Wix. For your words,
And
Yes.
you got a bit of a scare. You want to talk about what that was and how we ended up figuring out what was going on? Because I think it speaks to the importance of actually looking at your risk factors in a deep way that we did with you with Functional Health Panel. And we were able to find so many things that kind of gave us a sense of relief rather than being on a
Yes.
lifelong medication.
Well, a huge sense of relief, by the way.
Yeah.
And I was never a medication guy. Like I wasn't taking any kind of medications or anything like that. And even now,
Except blasting gear.
it relates to my heart. You know, all of a sudden you're rolling along in life and things are good. And then you reach your 5th level of life and you realize that, oh, you're of age.
Yeah. You're 53 now.
And when you become 53. and then so when you become of age, that's when all the tests start to happen, right? Okay, where's the colonoscopy line? Let's do that. And
All right.
hey, here's the cardiovascular workup. And
Yeah.
let's look at the heart and let's look at all the valves and things like that. So when I was looking at the valves, and this was a little bit before you and I met.
Yeah.
But just as we met.
Yeah.
I was looking at the valves and I had a complete cardiovascular workup and everything looked great. Thank God, knock on wood. And then there was what looked to be some stuff inside the
Like a buildup of
like
what
a
they thought was
buildup,
plaque.
what they thought
in
was
the-
plaque
yeah,
in the circumflex valve
in the artery, yeah.
in the artery, right? And I didn't even know what that. I never even heard of that. Well, it
The little
sounds
artery
cool.
that goes around the back of your
It goes
heart.
in the back. I know that, right? I always hear the main two.
Yeah.
That's what you hear. But
So The Rock was on the verge pretty much of a heart attack. Impending doom. And I'm going to be honest, stuff like this is my biggest fear in life. Like having some underlying thing you don't know about just to wake up, stomach hurts, and come to find out you have stage 4 cancer. It's terrifying. So I feel for the guy through all of this. I'm not making fun of his health problems and scares and whatever. And then I also made one other little bookmark here at 18 minutes. I didn't even make a note why, so we'll kind of figure that out as we go along here.
this I don't understand, and I kept asking you. Okay, so I'm good. Am I
good,
good
right?
here? You're like, you're really good. You're really good. It's funny because you could feel good and you feel like, hey,
So that's not why I came to this part here for, but the whole yes man thing, it's clear The Rock is on gear or was on gear, right? We don't know how their actual conversation went. We don't know what the doctor actually told him. But if he is sitting there saying, you're good, like, this is fine, you got to worry about this, and blah, 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 and drink this shake, and this is going to help you feel better, and we got to worry about this heart, and we're going to do this, and this medication to take. To ignore, because throughout this whole podcast, and it's talked about in the comments, they completely ignore gear usage. Completely.
good and I'm rolling along in life and I feel like I'm making all the right moves here.
Yeah.
But then when it comes time, like, hey, let's take a deeper dive underneath this hood. You never know. And that's the scary part, I think, for a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And I know I was hesitant, with you, like, okay.
How far do I go?
How,
Because we
how
started,
far
I know
do we need to go?
We started slow. We started looking at a few things. I was like, how about we do a little bit deeper? And you're like, okay. I trust you now. You fixed my tummy.
That's right.
My poops are good. Like, I trust you with the rest of my body.
Fix my tummy. That's the name of my next book, right? We'll co-author. You fix my tummy. But you're right. Why is that? Why do you think dudes in general are like that? I have a thought.
Okay, so it goes back to again, I didn't even make a note on this. Basically, out of sight, out of mind, right? And this is kind of how people approach their health until it's too late. And you end up at the point in which where Dwayne Johnson is at now. So how is he going to handle this? How is he going to handle... Obviously, he lost all this weight for a reason. Obviously, he's thinking of his health in a different way for a reason, I would assume. And after years of lying, blatantly lying to people's faces about gear usage and whatever, and how do you handle this? Are you going to play it off as I had to lose it for a role and now I feel better this way? He may do that because what has happened is he's built up this reputation amongst general population. People outside of general population who are a little bit, they pay more attention to this stuff, like myself. If you saw him on Joe Rogan, it wasn't a good interview, right? People were not a fan of him because he basically just played PR the whole time. No tough questions got asked. We didn't hear a whole lot about him outside of this kind of bullshit origin story that actors seem to have. And other than that, he interviewed Joe half the time. This podcast, they talked more about his health and whatever, but the gear usage never came up. So he's been always kind of shown as this altruistic figure of hard work, the American dream. You can get anywhere. He came rags to riches, tough upbringing, and just with the right mindset, the right discipline, and willing to push yourself, you can achieve great things. You just can't make excuses. Everybody's making too many excuses. Ooh. Now here's where I have a problem with all of this. And this is what actually infuriates me about people like this in this position when it comes to steroids. There's the obvious putting out this image that you achieved what you achieved naturally through hard work and blah, 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 to the younger generation, but also just people in general, is wrong, right? And he came in an era where you had to lie about everything. People are more open about steroid usage, what they're taking now, but he came up in this era where it wasn't acceptable. And he rode that the entire time because you can't go back. Like I said, where does he go from here? What drives me crazy is how people like this will push this agenda of hard work and talk about how much better they are, how much harder they work than other individuals, when they're kind of paying to win. The Rock doesn't have freedom. And this is what I came to throughout thinking of this video. The Rock has no real freedom. He started taking steroids and he largely grew his career on being a big muscular guy with this out-of-world physique. Skyrocketed him through Hollywood, and all of his roles were based on that. All of them. That's the joke, that he just plays himself in every movie. But he had to do that to get there. And then you have companies pumping money, dude. They just pump money into these people. They don't actually care about him. It's what they can get out of him. What can they put behind Dwayne Johnson, this figure that they, in a way, have built up? He has to maintain this because if he doesn't, he loses everything. Hence why he's lied about everything. And you can only do that for so long. And now he's in this spot where he's lost all this weight. Where does he go from here? You're owned by corporations. You can go wherever you want to go. You can buy whatever you want to buy. In theory, you can make whatever decision you want to make. But at the end of the day, you're owned by corporations. You can't go on a podcast and talk about what you want to talk about because corporations are invested in you. And you have to ride that. And if you don't, you lose it. If you don't, the world turns against you, which is worse. Now, it seems like people nowadays are able to really get out of things, especially because our attention span is so fucking low that he'll come out, say, oh, sorry, I lied for so long about taking steroids. Some people will be pissed off about it and fucking boycott his movies. Some people will be irritated for a little bit, but say, hey, he had to do what he had to do. And some people won't bat an eye. They won't think that much of it. This is the world we live in. Let me look at my notebook here, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. No, I'm not. You can theoretically lie, steal, cheat your way to the top. Companies will support that. If you look at most people that are at the top, that's what they've done. There's allegations, conspiracies, all this bullshit surrounding them. That's how they got there. They were able to pump money behind Dwayne Johnson, push this imaginary American dream for decades, and then he almost fucking died because of it, and now he had to make a change to his well-being. And they'll probably turn their back on him. He'll probably not get quite as much spotlight. I don't hear as much from Dave Bautista, and he wasn't constantly denying allegations, and he wasn't as big as The Rock. So I'm curious where he goes here from now. None of this is to accuse him of being a bad person. None of what I say on this is to actually rip on people. It's just to paint a spotlight on what we're dealing with. The bad person is the corporations. The bad person is the money. The bad people are running the world, and they have our full attention. That is all I'm going to talk about today. Dwayne Johnson is skinny. He'll probably live forever now because they talk about in this podcast he has a certain gene which is apt to make you live longer. So, let's see. Come off steroids, have all the money in the world, and I have the gene that lets me live forever. Like, dude, I'm going to be... Obviously, he's not actually going to live forever, people, but it's more likely for him to live longer. He may have won the lottery. He won the lottery. Dwayne Johnson, like everyone is saying, has become the pebble. But I would argue, depending on how he handles this, he may become a better man, a bigger man than he was before. Dwayne Johnson is actually about to become the Mountain 2.0 because the mountain's taken. Thanks for watching. That's the show.